look at the 7 seals, okay, 7 seals, and it's all in the root words, and other things. And I saw and behold a white horse. Right, what I've realised is all the colour of the 4 horses are people, professions, people, tribes, countries, people, all of the same ilk. Okay, so and I saw and behold a white horse. I believe that to be the medical industry, the doctors with the white coats. You know, the white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow. Now, this is very interesting, the word bow, because when you look at the root word, and I'm going to look at it right here and read it out, it says, now, it's got the root word's got nothing to do with a bow. A bow is bent, though, isn't it? A bow is bent, and it says here, a bow from the base of Bitchute. A bow, apparently, as the simplest fabric. The simplest fabric, don't forget that. A bow is also a bow, it's the front of a ship. A bow and the front of a ship are the same shape, and so is a bow, as each other. And if you put that in the simplest fabric, you have a face mask. And we've got to consider as well. Do you think that God wouldn't have COVID in the Bible? I mean, is that even plausible? When it's clearly the mark of the beast, the abomination of desolation in the temple. We are the temple. The vaccine is the abomination of desolation because it creates desolation of the people by taking the mark of the beast. Of course, it can't be anything else. So the bow is the key to this whole verse. And had a crown. Well, we all know that corona means crown. That's just basic, right? And was given unto him, and he went forth, conquering and to conquer. Now, do you think there's a coincidence here that there's the word that he went forth? When there was 4 vaccines, and he went conquering and to conquer. Well, they certainly conquered 85% of the white Europeans and Americans, right? Yeah. The white European race, which are the Americans. But also, it turns out, from what I understand, Bill Gates, who led the charge, is a direct descendant of William the Conqueror. That might be reaching, but there's no doubt at all, just on the word bow and bow alone, that this is the first seal. And then, you know, when I was in that stage 3 years ago, and I knew that was coming, I knew without it being known politically, I knew the next thing coming was a war with Russia. I didn't know it was Ukraine, but I knew it was a war with Russia. I'd assumed it was Russia and America, Russia and Europe, but I didn't know it was Russia and Ukraine. But I knew for sure, absolutely 100%, that Russia was the second horse. And when he had opened the second seal, which is the red horse, when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon, Putin, to take peace from the earth, World War III, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. I don't think anyone would dispute that that's the Russian war. But yet again, it's white people killing white people for the Jew, right? Mm-hmm. Revelation 5. This is an incredible thing, because not 6 weeks ago, I was reading this over and over again and didn't have the slightest clue what it meant at all, other than it was a food famine, which it isn't. And I prayed and prayed about it, and then I just got the whole understanding in one moment. And I had no clue before. None. And that was the same for the 5th seal. And when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And remember, black horses are people. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Let me explain what that part of the verse means, of the black horse means. As far as I've been taught, either that or I'm chemically insane. There is, as we know, there's an immigration crisis in every white country in the world right now. And it's all black people. It's black people, Pakistani people, and they're all in hotels everywhere. Mm-hmm. Now, I've got a video on my Bitchute channel which shows, more than one in fact, that backs this, what I'm about to say up, but one in particular shows a group of white men, local white men, approaching black men, Pakistanis, outside the hotel in England, and they're asked, the white men asked the Pakistani men, "What on earth are you doing here?" And the black guy slips up and says, everyone in here is military. And the white guy goes, well, what are you doing here? Why are you military here? He says, well, we're training in your base, right, a couple of miles up the road. But that's true for all of them. They're all fighting age men, all of them. I mean, if you look at Ireland now, things that have been covered up, there's multiple rates of children, boys and girls, women and men, multiple stabbings, murders and slashings and attacks. They're all carrying TikTok videos, they're making TikTok videos with all their sheaths and knives and butchery knives. Some of them have got guns. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. It's all getting covered up. They used the Ukrainian war to open the floodgates of legislation in an emergency capacity. They used the white immigration to change the immigration law in all these countries, particularly Britain and Ireland. And now what you see is all the Ukrainians, well, not all, but most of them have gone back. None of them are coming in. It's just now black people coming in. And they're all in hotels, all of them. So they're not there. And it's mostly men without families, not always, but it's mostly men without families. And you don't put them in hotels if you plan to give them houses. Besides, there's not enough houses in an entire empty city to fit them all in Britain. There's too many. So why are they here? They're here to attack the white Europeans. Under what guise? Reparations. Even in the paper a few weeks ago in the Daily Mail, there was, I think, Indian government or something shouting reparations to the gay Prince Charlie, the unborn gay Prince Charlie. And they're saying the same thing, that he should pay out reparations for things that happened hundreds of years ago, or 100 years ago. Reparations, they've been ramming that down the social conscience for eons now. Reparations, reparations, reparations. That we should take responsibility for things our forefathers didn't even do, but the media said they did. But even if they did do it, why is that anything to do with us? So here's the thing. It's about reparations, it's about the scales. So I'll read it again. And beheld, he had opened the third seal, and I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. The black horse is the black immigrants who are here to attack us when they get the green light. There's also another video on my Bitchute channel, very short, with a black woman in Ireland shouting and screaming on the streets saying, they're the Illuminati, they're the New World Order. This is like almost like a tribeswoman from Africa. They've definitely been taken here with an agenda and a mission. Otherwise, they wouldn't be saying what they're saying, training where they're training, and living where they're living. He that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hands. That's reparation. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and thou hurt not the oil and the wine. The oil's the Church of Philadelphia. The wine is the left behind. Now, the beasts are the black people. As uncomfortable as that is to say, but that's what it means. If you look at the root words, and I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. That's not a famine. That's the food shortage, a massive food shortage that comes before the famine. Every famine comes before every famine comes a food shortage. And see thou not hurt the oil and the wine. Now, it's my understanding that if you look at the rest of the Bible, they have the Church of Philadelphia, who people who say is the elect, they have to go then. Otherwise, the rest of the Bible prophecy stands down, and it isn't true, and it is true, because then it's horror. So I think when we've just put our foot into the third seal now, or about to now, I think we have already, then I've got set in my head a 2028 timeline for the end that started properly in 2021, but really could have been 2027 as a timeline, because it did actually technically start in 2020 at the very end. But I've always had it imprinted in my head for some reason that 2025 April May on the true calendar is going to be the Great Tribulation. So I think between now and 2025 the church has to go. But I actually think it might be this year or next year, but not by 2025 for another thing that I'll talk about. Another biblical understanding that I'll talk about regarding the witnesses. But when you come to the fourth seal, and I looked and behold a pale horse, which used to be a pale green horse. Could be the climate change lockdowns that are coming. It being pale because it's not real. It's weak. It's an imitation. I don't know. And his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed. Now, the Bible talks about hell opening, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It could just be metaphorically hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. Now, I'm no geographical mathematician, but if you take all the white countries that are in the world today, I'm pretty sure that's a fourth of the earth. Somebody could maybe prove that out or disprove it out. A fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword. Well, that's what they're doing in Ireland now, and with hunger, and that's what's coming. The third seal is the food shortage. This is the famine. I'm not talking about a food shortage. This is eat your children type famine, like the Holodomor, right? Mm-hmm. This is as bad as it gets in every white country, and probably spills out to other countries just near them. Hunger, and with death, and with all the beasts of the earth. The beasts of the earth is that's the death with the sword. That's when it all comes down on top with the black people in the third seal. The beasts of the earth, that's them. And with death, and with the beasts of the earth, with the sword, and with hunger, with the famine, it's going to be and also people that are vaccinated, they're going to be, that's when they're going to flip the switch on most people that they don't need. There's going to be death everywhere. Now don't forget, the Bible has said very clearly, the horror that will be in the last 3.5 years will be worse than the world has ever seen. Look how much horror we've seen in history. And to think that anything could be worse than that, could top that, is incredible. So, this is prophecy. I don't think it can be stopped. The only way you can stop it is to find Christ and be baptized. And even for the vaccinated people, I think there's a window here where they can actually redeem themselves, because it's about property law. That's what it's about. The vaccine is fundamentally about property. You've given your property, your ownership over with your free will. Okay, it's by deception, but the information was disclosed online. I found it. You found it. It was there. It was there for being checked. But people were they don't want to know the truth. They don't care. So they have to pay the penalty for that, But there is a chance, once they do know that they've been deceived and what's really behind it. But one you can physically get out of your body, it's not pleasant, but it is with nutrients, getting metal out of your body is not pleasant. But there's also a spiritual way of giving your ownership back to God. So if I was to go and get baptized again now, I would just be a normal baptism. But if I had taken the vaccine, I would be repenting for my sins as a normal baptism, but also repenting for taking the vaccine, and saying in that, before I went under the water, I'd be saying, I fully repent with all my heart and all my soul for taking the vaccine and giving my ownership away from you to them. It was done in deception, but I'm giving it back now. Take me, forgive me, if it be your will. If you'll have me, I'm here. So what's to that effect? But there's not a thing on earth that can